Hi, hey, hello, and welcome to another fine episode of a Colts podcast brought to you by Fan Nation on SI.com. My name's Brandon, and I'm joined here by your co-host, my best friend, Andrew Moore. We've got real freaking football. In just 24 hours, we're going to be watching the Buffalo Bills in Los Angeles taking on the Super Bowl champion Rams. I believe that may have been my Super Bowl pick last year. And look at that. Turns out they're just going to play first game of the week this year. How are you doing, sir? How's your week been? Shoot.
Football's back, baby.
Football
I can't wait to actually talk about real football that actually matters. It's an exciting time. We've been waiting months for this. From January when the Colts on a nice sunny afternoon in January just got beat down, and now it's time for redemption. Week 1, Colts versus Texans. I'm fired up. I'm fired up to chat to you about it. Fired up to talk about the entire NFL in week 1. So it's been a good week. How about yourself, man?
I'm doing fine. I am a mere 17 days away from my wedding, my nuptials.
There we go.
I'm really looking forward to that. Football, though. Close second. I'm very excited. And the honeymoon. I'm very excited to not be in Indiana here quite soon. Tom Brady should be spending time with his wife. Stats Matt's not wrong.
While you're gone, we're going to have a guest to join me on a Colts podcast here. So that'll be fun.
Allegedly, I messaged him today. He did not respond. He did. He finally did. Anyway, Andrew, we need to remind the people what's important. Okay,
let's do it.
Go follow a Colts podcast at a Colts podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If you're listening to the podcast through Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all those podcast platforms, we appreciate you. But leave a review, and then while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Because again, I want to hit 1,000 subscribers. Because
that would be lovely.
I want to make some money. Okay, about the only thing to motivate me to keep doing this is making money. Okay, we're at our money making stage now, so let's ramp that up. Speaking of making money, fun fact: we also have a sponsor, Home Field.
Love it.
Home Field Apparel. We do love Home Field Apparel. They've been very good to us, Andrew, and they sent us these nice shirts that neither one of us are wearing today because we wore last week. We got the joggers on, right?
Absolutely.
You're wearing your joggers.
Listen, I prepared. The house is a nice, crisp 67 degrees.
You're
got the joggers on.
Shitting me. Did you hear that?
Yeah, that's your phone.
We're live. Your phone is in the office. We're live here. What is going on?
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, my God.
Listen.
Home Field Apparel, we're so sorry that my soon-to-be wife doesn't know how to take her phone out of my office when she's walking out of the room. Oh, boy. Premium collegiate apparel brand out of Indianapolis. Incredibly comfortable. Officially licensed apparel with vintage college designs and now an NFL design. Being a local brand in Indianapolis, the Colts reached out to Home Field, Andrew. Home Field aren't beggars. They're not going to the NFL team saying, please license us. The Colts called them.
Colts said, hey, Home Field, sup.
You're making some badass shit. We want you to make some shit for us.
That's about how the conversation went.
Yeah, that's pretty much Jim Irsay.
Jimmy from the Colts.
Hey,
brother.
Reach out to Home Field for an exclusive partnership to launch this collection of Home Field and Colts apparel. This is Home Field's first NFL collection. Super exciting opportunity to work with the best team in the NFL in the Indianapolis Colts. Home Field and the Colts work together exclusively to make this co-branded collection, bringing Indianapolis together, Andrew. Indianapolis before Home Field, spread apart. Indianapolis with home field together. Okay, understand? 6 items: a hooded sweatshirt, hot. Crew neck, hot. 2 tees, cool. Joggers, no sleeves, so it's cool. Joggers and that bomber jacket, bro. That bomber.
Have you placed your order with promo code of Colts Podcast to get that bomber jacket yet?
Not yet, but I do plan to, because 15% off, and that gets you a big fat discount. Stats, Matt, have you used? What does Paige coming in here to get her phone have to do with the air conditioning, Andrew? I'm behind on the comments here because I'm in the middle of an ad read. Stats, Matt, not focused.
He was talking about me in my joggers with my house set at 67 degrees. Nice, crisp, and cool.
Perfect collection kick off the season, Andrew. Need something new to wear this season? Go to homefieldapparel.com. Use promo code AColtsPodcast. All one word.
Colts Podcast.
A Colts Podcast. All one word. Capitalized even. For 15% off your first order. Matt, have you used your promo code? Wyatt Law, Tom Brady, have you guys used your promo codes? And where is Tim Milliken? I need to know if he's used his promo code for his first order. Homefieldapparel.com. Here's a picture. See, this is why you got to watch. Anyway, that's that. Thanks for great time, allowing us to be a sponsoree. To be sponsored, Homefield Apparel. All right, Andrew, let's talk. We've been shitting out about the real football. Let's talk about it. Colts currently minus 315 versus the Texans. I'm sorry, at the Texans. Let me fix this. Huge mistake. At Texans, who are plus 260. Andrew, the spread is 7. The over-under is at 45.5. I'm going to say hammer the under. My guess. We'll see when we go to the prediction.
Both games in 2021, that would be the under. So you're probably onto something there, especially week 1. But yeah, I mean, it's a great divisional matchup to open up the year for the Indianapolis Colts. Colts going down to Houston. Last year, the Colts really had their way with Houston. I think with the Colts beat the Texans by a combined score of 62-3 in their 2 meetings. So blowouts all around. And I think for the Texans, they're a little upset about that, and they don't want to be embarrassed for a third time in a row. And you look at it from the Colts angle. How many times have we talked about it over the past few years? Even Colts just can't win on opening weekend.
It's a bad combination, by the way.
It's been since 2013 since the Indianapolis Colts started a season 1-0. Andrew Luck was in his second year being the quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. That seems like forever ago, and it really is. Colts want to get off the snide. They want to start the season 1-0. It's very crucial for them to start 1-0 because not only is it a divisional opponent, but it's an AFC opponent. It's a team that isn't, at least by a lot of what experts are saying, isn't a team that's supposed to be very formidable this year. Colts need to beat those teams if they want to make a long playoff run and not have to leave it up to chance at the end. So, unless
it's a game in week 1 or a game in Jacksonville, we usually do handle business against these types of teams. Which, my God, I can't handle it. I mark my words. You will not see my face Sunday night if the Colts lose that football game. If I bust out the grill and I make the wings and I do all the things and I don't get to and the Colts lose to the Houston Texans, there's no episode Sunday. There may not be an episode at all. Who knows? It'll be the most mad I've ever been, I think. So, Andrew, everybody keeps talking about what can we expect from Matt Ryan? What can we expect from Matt Ryan? You got it right here in the outline. What do we expect from Matt Ryan against the Texans, who were 23rd against the pass in 2021? I expect Matt Ryan to catch fire. I expect Matt Ryan to light these sons of bitches up.
thought it was very interesting this week when Frank Reich talked about this, and he wasn't even asked really about this, but it came out kind of unprompted. He said they haven't been showing anything on offense. They kept it as vanilla could be. And you and I talked about that. We've been telling people that for weeks. That's why we say don't overreact to what you see in preseason games. They're not scheming things open. They're not showing their hand early. The Colts have a lot of things up their sleeve because of what Matt Ryan brings to this team. We already know the kind of offense that Frank Reich runs, but there's going to be some wrinkles from when Matt Ryan was with the Atlanta Falcons, things that he did well down there in Atlanta, and it's going to be incorporated into this Frank Reich offense. So do I expect Matt Ryan to go for 400 yards and 5 tuds? No, I don't think that, because I do still think that it's going to take a couple games probably for this offense to get clicking. But do I think Matt Ryan's going to have a good game on Sunday? I think so. I think Matt Ryan could easily throw for 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 or 3 touchdowns, depending on how the game flows. But I don't think Matt Ryan necessarily needs to be – we don't need to worry about what Matt Ryan is going to give us. And I think a lot of Colts fans are still trying to get over the Carson Wentz saga in 2021, where every single week you and I would say, which Carson Wentz are we going to get?
That's what it became. I mean, after 4 weeks – we're like, okay, so we have some highs, we have some lows. What are we going to get this week?
Right, exactly. We were asking which Carson Wentz are we going to see? We're going to see the Carson Wentz that looks like he could be a franchise quarterback, or are we going to get the Carson Wentz that likes to throw left-handed interceptions? You just didn't know. That's not going to be the case. It's going to be more of how we talked about this offense and the quarterback position specifically in 2020 with Phillip Rivers. You know what you're getting coming in week in and week out. You're getting a guy that has full command of the offense. You're getting a guy that's incredibly accurate with the football, a guy that demands his teammates to play up to the level that he is playing, and a guy that you can trust when the game's on the line. So do I think Matt Ryan's going to struggle? No. Do I think he's going to light the world on fire, though? Probably not. But I do expect
Matt's calling for 280 and 2 tuds.
That's a respectable stat line from Stats Matt. I could see that. I'm probably going to go on the lower end of the yardage. I'm probably going to go about give me 245 and 2 touchdowns.
All right. Yeah, slip me one. 250. At least.
At least. All right.
If I see a 3 in front of that number, I'm not going to be overly shocked. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he throws to 300 yards either. But I don't. I mean, we'll get to my predictions.
Why wouldn't you try?
I don't think he's going to get to 300 yards, but
you remember why wouldn't you try?
I do.
Good times. I miss being able to listen to that show all the time. Must be nice, Stats Matt. Listen, I expect Matt Ryan to be just fine. Mm-hmm. So, anything else on Matt Ryan? Maybe an interception.
I'm just excited to see.
Maybe one dumb mistake.
I'm excited to see what he can actually do in this Colts offense when they're scheming things and really putting their best foot forward to see what this offense is going to look like for 2022.
All right. And can JT repeat his Texans performance, his performance against the Texans from last year in Houston towards the end of the year? Texans are 31st against the run 2021. I bet they could have been 28th if it weren't for Jonathan Taylor. I mean, ridiculous. What were the numbers you gave it? You gave me the numbers earlier today or yesterday when we were looking at the thumbnail.
I think when the Colts won 31-0, Jonathan Taylor had 32 carries for 100 and it was either 143 yards and 2 touchdowns, something like that. Jonathan Taylor, in really both games, if I remember correctly, he just stuck it to the Houston Texans. And that's where I think we're going to see this Colts offense really start. I think it's going to be a heavy dosage of Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines on Sunday afternoon. Jonathan Taylor hasn't taken a snap in the preseason. So do I think they're just right out of the gate going to give him 30 carries? No, but I expect Jonathan Taylor to be heavily involved, kind of get the offense settled in its groove, because the Colts with Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines. That's what the Colts have been doing for years. Get the offense kind of settled in, and then you start opening up the playbook with Matt Ryan, with these wide receivers down the field, start spreading it out a little bit. So I think we're going to see a good game out of Jonathan Taylor. I expect probably close to 100 yards and definitely a touchdown. But I would watch Nyheim Hines. That's the guy I'm really intrigued to see, because while the Colts haven't really schemed anything up, we've already seen how much they have put an emphasis on Nyheim Hines and getting him the ball and getting him involved.
Right.
So when the Colts have been talking all off season about, we want to get Nyheim Hines more touches, we want to get him more involved, what does that entail? Does that mean like 1 or 2 more touches a game from last year, 3 to 4, 5 to 6? We'll have to see exactly what that means. But I think at least to start out, we're going to see a heavy dosage of Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines out of the backfield until this offense can kind of get into a rhythm in the game. And then we'll probably start to see Matt Ryan start to open it up a little bit more.
I would like to see Nyheim Hines in regards to, just because I'm so ready to see how he's going to be used with Matt Ryan. Just to get a real look at what we're going to see moving forward. I don't think it's something. I think it's going to be a lot of volume for Nyheim Hines, and I do think it's going to be telling for the rest of the season, not just this game.
Well, I think a lot of what we're going to see is we're going to see Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines on the field at the same time.
That's going to be great.
The Colts used that sparingly last year, but I think we're going to see that a lot more out here, especially in these games to start to get this offense in a rhythm. Because usually we saw it in the Jets game, we saw it in numerous times last year when both of those guys are cooking. This Colts team is really hard to beat.
Yes. All right, and then MPJ versus Derek Stingley Jr. Start Michael Pittman Jr. in your fantasy league this week. You know, Paige picked him first round, 6th pick or some shit in our draft. Hilarious. She goes, I like him. I said, I hope you're right. I really do. How do you think Michael Pittman Jr. fares against our fellow there?
It's going to be a fun matchup because Pittman is Pittman. We all know what he can bring, but Derek Stingley Jr. was a top 5 pick in the NFL draft for a reason. I mean, he's a good kid out of LSU who can hold his own. So I think that's going to be a fun matchup to watch. But I would expect, at least early, Michael Pittman Jr. to get a lot of looks from Matt Ryan, and just because I've been there all throughout training camp, and I saw Michael Pittman Jr. catch double the amount of passes from Matt Ryan than anybody else. They're going to get Pittman the ball, but it's going to be fascinating to watch how quickly these other wide receivers can really contribute and really bring forth an extra element to this offense. I mean, the healthy Paris Campbell, who is healthy going into week 1. How are things going to set up for Paris Campbell? How quickly can Alec Pierce get acclimated to the NFL game in his first start? You're going to see Pierce and Campbell out there the majority of the time with Michael Pittman Jr. in those 3 wide receiver sets. So it's if Pittman does start to really eat and they start putting more attention over to Pittman's side, those 2 guys are going to have to step up. I would probably say I have a little bit more faith or a little bit more confidence in Paris Campbell at the moment than Alec Pierce, strictly because Campbell's a 4-year NFL veteran. He's played the game before. I still think it's going to take a couple weeks for Pierce to, especially when he's being schemed up against and the guys are really starting to get physical. I think Pierce will come on. But I think as of right now, Paris Campbell, when healthy, Frank Reich is just wanting to use Paris Campbell as a weapon so badly. And we saw it in 2020 with Phillip Rivers in that first game against Jacksonville, how potent Paris Campbell was in that game. I think we could see that again on Sunday.
All right. And then let's talk about the defense. Stopping the run, Dameon Pierce.
I did, and I think somebody already said it in the comments here. Let's give some credit. Let's Wyatt Law saying he really wants to see the Gus Bradley defense dominate. I want to see that defensive line specifically dominate, and with the given emphasis on the pass rush coming from real wide, what can we do to stop the run? So obviously in line with this topic, Andrew, what do you think about the Colts run defense and what they're going to look like this weekend?
So just from everything that I've seen so far, and the philosophy that Gus Bradley and this defensive line are shifting to, where it's pin the ears back, go get the football, there's probably going to be some growing pains when it comes to defending the run. And I think we've seen that a couple times, not only in training camp, but some in the preseason games as well. So it's going to be important for guys like DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart to really hold their lanes in
Right.
the interior there, and make sure the run gets stopped. And you take a rookie Damian Pierce, who has shined in the preseason and training camp, beat out Marlon Mack for the starting job there in Houston. He looks good. So you don't want to start just letting him go off and then have the Texans methodically drive it down the field, because say what you will about Davis Mills, he's a Stanford kid, he's a smart football player, he's a young quarterback, but he you don't see him making boneheaded plays, I would say.
Yeah.
At least we didn't last year. So if the Colts don't stop the run, I mean, they could keep Matt Ryan and Jonathan Taylor over there on the sidelines, and then it takes the pass rush out of it to an extent when you're getting behind in the drives like that. So I think that's an underrated aspect of this game that some people may be glossing over, is the Colts run defense and how it's going to change under Gus Bradley as compared to how it was the past few seasons with Matt Eberflus, because there was such an emphasis on the defensive line group under Eberflus to stop the run. Now it's more about going and getting the quarterback. So can you adjust? Can the linebackers like Bobby Okereke, Shaq Leonard, Zaire Franklin, if he's in there, how can they adjust to get off the blocks to make sure those running backs don't break one free?
We're going to find out Sunday. Speaking of Shaq Leonard, let's skip one and we'll come back to it just because you brought up Darius. Do we think he's going to play realistically?
Honestly, I think it's tracking that way. Some people don't think so.
I think he will on a pitch count.
That's what I was going to say. And that's kind of what we talked about earlier today. I think Shaq Leonard does play. He was a full participant in practice today. He feels good. There's no pain. But Frank Reich also said that he's not 100%. However, he did say that a guy of Shaq Leonard's caliber can play at 80% and with his talent kind of figure out the rest. So I do think the Colts are going to be smart about this. There's still not a guarantee that he's out there. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the Colts said, even if he was a full participant all week, Colts said, we still want to get him a little bit more practice, a little bit more live action. Let's hold off for a week and see if he can go against Jacksonville. But I think the way things are trending, just by how he's practicing, how he's feeling, I think he's going to be able to be out there. But do I expect 100% of the snaps to go to Shaquille Leonard? No. I would think maybe 15, 20, 25 snaps, somewhere in there, just to get his feet wet. And then if the Colts are fortunate enough to put the game away early, they'll take Shaq Leonard out as quickly as they can.
Yeah, I would like to see him not overdo it, like I've been saying all summer.
Right.
I'd be perfectly okay. My opinion, Franklin's been playing well. I don't know that I want. I don't know that we need him out there this week. I just don't know that it's necessary. You know what I mean? Maybe keep him strapped up and ready just in case. Waste a roster spot for the week and don't let him play. Just don't put him in unnecessary risk. I understand it's game one of the season. I understand it's a divisional game. It's also the Houston Texans. So I might not agree with myself on that idea, honestly. Once I look back at it after I said it, but still at the same time, I mean, if he's not 100%, I don't know. Let's skip backwards though. Now, go ahead.
Real quick before we move on. I like what Stats Matt says. He said he probably plays like 60 to 70% in the first half. Then if the Colts have a decent lead, they pull him out or pull him back out. So that very well could be how it goes. I could see them playing a majority of the first half, kind of seeing how things go, where the game situation is, and then kind of deciding from there.
Yeah. All right. And Andrew, should the Colts be worried about long neck Davis Mills? Keep in mind here, folks, the Texans could have gone after a Baker Mayfield. The Texans could have gone after a Jimmy Garoppolo. The Texans could have gone after a quarterback. I have absolutely no idea actually what options they had in the draft. And maybe they just said, hey, you know what? There's nobody out there this year worth giving anything up for. And maybe that's it. Or they really do want to see what Davis Mills has, and they believe maybe he could be the guy. So I don't know if worried's the right word, but we certainly can't underestimate the guy.
That's exactly what I was going to say again.
We did not discuss earlier. I did not directly steal that.
We did not. Yeah, you can't underestimate Davis Mills. And I think last year, I remember you and I talking about this, how Davis Mills really impressed us. I mean, he wasn't a guy that was like Joe Burrow as a rookie, but Davis Mills held his own. And for being like a 3rd round pick, he came in. He definitely outplayed Tyrod Taylor.
He did things that made sense. He did little things that made sense. He didn't put the ball into a lot of danger. Typically, he took running opportunities when he saw them right in front of him.
And he was accurate with the football.
And he pretty much just didn't Carson Wentz things. You know what I mean? In those situations where Carson Wentz would have Carson Wentzed, Davis Mills did not Carson Wentz.
Davis Mills had like an Andy Dalton first year. Nothing spectacular, but he didn't wow you really. But
he'd have made the playoffs with the team Andy Dalton had. That he made
the Bengals. Yeah, I would probably agree with that. So, and now in his second year, I mean, like I said before, he's a smart kid. Went to Stanford. He's a guy that in pre-draft meetings, you heard a lot of coaches saying how he was very good up on the whiteboard. So you take that, you take him a second year. Brandon Cooks is out there healthy. The Texans signed OJ Howard. There's a tight end. I don't know what his role's really going to be, but Davis Mills isn't somebody that you can go into a game thinking we don't need to worry about him. You do have to account for Davis Mills because he can make plays with the football. And this is, again, while he didn't necessarily succeed very well against the Colts last year, this is his 3rd time going up against the Colts, and so he's going to have some familiarity, not necessarily with the scheme, but some of the players out there. I don't think he's going to test Kenny Moore as much as he did last year, but yeah, you have to get he's like every other quarterback. You got to get pressure on him, and I'm excited to see what this new Colts front can do. How Yannick Ngakoue going up against Laramie Tunsil, how that matchup's going to go, because Laramie Tunsil is still a very good left tackle in this league. Kwity Paye, who practiced fully, was not on the injury report coming off that bone bruise in his knee. Are we going to finally see, since we've been talking about how hard Kwity Paye has been working all off season, we're going to see that come to fruition this week, see him put quite a bit of pressure on Davis Mills, and then get back to the interior with DeForest Buckner, a guy that when he didn't play much this preseason, but I remember when he did play against Buffalo, man, he was back in the backfield a lot on that one drive that he was in. So I think it's still going to be, you have to win up front. And the Colts put so many resources into that defensive line. I mean, think about it. 1st round pick for Kwity Paye, 1st round pick trade for DeForest Buckner, and then giving him that big extension, trading for Yannick Ngakoue, paying Grover Stewart, then all the draft capital with Dio Dangbo, Tyquan Lewis, Ben Banogu, Eric Johnson, all those guys in the interior. it's got to start coming to fruition. And when you put so much resources into one position group, it really needs to show off. And hopefully the Colts can do that on Sunday.
Tim said he wasn't going to be sarcastic today. He lied. Maybe Andrew Luck will call his fellow Stanford Cardinal and talk Davis Mills into quitting right before the game.
Hey, fun fact about Andrew Luck. Do you know he's back at Stanford? He's a graduate student now at Stanford. David Shaw told us that last week. He said that on Rich Eisen's show or something.
I bet he is learning something wild. You know,
it's probably something with his architecture degree.
Probably. All right. We move into X Factor.
Let's do it.
All right. I'm going to go X Factor of the game. And I think it's just more out of sheer curiosity out of this Gus Bradley defense. I'm going to call the defense. Can I go with defensive line? Can I go with the group? You're not allowed to for your articles, but I don't give a shit.
I guess you can go with an entire
I'm going to go with,
you'd like.
It's not an entire group. It's 4 guys. It's not even half of the defense. It's just barely a third. Defensive line.
I'm going to go, kind of stinks that you picked the defensive line, but I am going to go with one particular guy on the defensive line, DeForest Buckner. Okay. And I really think it's a combination of things. Number one, it's about, like I said before, stopping the run. DeForest Buckner is going to be a really big part of that. And I think Grover Stewart will be as well, because Grover Stewart's main job is to stop the run. But when you're talking about the guy that's going to be in there for most of the plays, it's DeForest Buckner. So he's going to be in there to stop the run. And then as well, he's going to be one of the guys that has to create that pressure on Davis Mills, especially right up the middle. So Davis Mills cannot step up into the pocket and throw. And I'm trying to look because
Matt, while you're looking, Matt says that he said this, that he thinks Buckner should eat because of the matchup he should have opposite him.
So this is courtesy of Zach Hicks, and Matt got into a fight with somebody on Twitter, surprise, surprise, over my quote tweet about this. But DeForest Buckner in his last 4 matchups against the Houston Texans, 6 sacks, 3 QB hits, 11 hurries. DeForest Buckner has done very well against the Houston Texans recently, and it's led to Colts victories. I think the Colts are 4-0 against the Texans in the last 4 matchups, if I'm not mistaken. So DeForest Buckner, my X factor, I think he has a chance to have a really big game.
Predictions?
Are you going to start off the season with the banger?
Colts by 1 million. Let's go.
You like that? You like that?
Yeah, I do. Colts by 1 million, Andrew. Let's see. I'm going to go 27-10. 27-10 Colts. We cover.
You cover the under. I like that. I do think the Colts win. Think they finally break the week 1 curse. I think the Colts go a little bit higher than that, actually. I'm gonna go 31. I'm gonna go 31-13 Colts. I think the under just hits barely, but I think 31-13 is going to be a good score. And I think while the Colts might struggle a little bit,
31-7 stats, Matt.
I think while the Colts struggle a little bit against the run to start, I think the running with Jonathan Taylor, and once Matt Ryan gets going, it's going to force the Texans' hand, and it's going to force the game to be put on Davis Mills' back for him to come back. That's when that pass rush is going to start to eat. That's when you're going to see Yannick Ngakoue, Kwity Paye, DeForest Buckner really, really take its toll on Davis Mills. So, yeah, I'll take Colts 31-13.
And we scored, was it 31 we scored against them the second game last year?
Both games 31.
Wild. Why not keep that? Yeah, that's likely, guys. Well, everybody here picking 31. Are we out of our minds? Tom Brady chiming in, 31-10, another 31-point pick. Everybody calm down, okay, with this 31 stuff. So he picked how many points for the Colts you said, and then he picked how many points I said for the Texans.
There you go.
Cute, Tom. Cute. All right.
Colts football's back, Brandon.
Colts football's back Sunday. Real football's back tomorrow night. And I'll probably watch a quarter or two, go to bed, and watch it on that no free ads, but NFL Plus replay during work. Maybe twice on condensed. You know what I mean?
There
Just
you go.
keep watching it over and over. I'll be ready to talk about that Thursday night football game. All right, let's talk other Colts news. Andrew, in regards to injuries on the report from practice, we've got tackle Dennis Kelly, knee injury, limited practice, and linebacker Darius Shaquille Leonard back full practice. That was Wednesday. That was
Colts are, I mean, knock on wood, Colts are relatively healthy to start the season. It's been a while since that's happened. So,
wow.
Like I said, the way things are trending, I think Shaq does play, but it would probably be on a pitch count and then kind of see how the game goes from there.
All right. The Colts, Andrew, some other in regards to this other Colts news, the Colts have announced their 7 captains for 2022, and we've got the Gold Star, Matt Ryan, captain. We got 4-star DeForest Buckner. We got 4-star Darius Shaquille Leonard, Jonathan Taylor, Zaire Franklin, 3-star. Kenny Moore, Quentin Nelson are the captains for 2022. Now, because I don't forget our fans, Andrew, let's go all the way back to a question brought up before the start of the show while all was ready to watch today. With 7 captains, do the pregame coin toss duties get rotated game to game, or just leave it to captain for special teams Zaire Franklin? I believe this is something that is rotated throughout the year. Isn't that correct, Andrew?
That is correct. It's rotated throughout the year, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a captain. The Colts have sent out guys that aren't captains before, but are highly respected veterans. Like I've seen Ryan Kelly, who's not a captain, go out there. I've seen Grover Stewart go out there. You might see them even send Hot Rod out there to call the coin toss. You don't have to be a captain necessarily to go out there for the coin toss. Usually it is captains, but other times it's not. Yes, it does get rotated.
Stats Matt shocked that Michael Pittman Jr. not a captain. Andrew, do you find it odd that there are no wide receiver captains? There's 3 offensive captains.
Yeah, I don't really find it too odd. They usually go 3 on offense,
3 on defense, and 1
special teams. Zaire Franklin's been the special teams captain for years now. Shaq and DeForest, that wasn't surprising. Kenny Moore, because he's been here, but on the offensive side of the ball, I think it's just because, and it's voted on by the players. So I mean, Quentin Nelson was a captain last year. Obviously, the starting quarterback's going to be a captain. All we've heard all off season is Matt Ryan and his leadership ability.
Yeah.
So, and then Jonathan Taylor has really come on as a leader in that running back room. So I think that just not only is it the respect that they have for Taylor as a leader, but I mean, he earned that with his play last year. I mean, he's number 5 in the NFL in the NFL top 100 list.
Any surprises on there for you, or surprises not on there?
I wouldn't think so. I mean, all of those guys are very deserving of a captain spot. They're all great leaders within the locker room, guys that the locker room looks up to. Maybe Yannick Ngakoue, because Yannick is also a really good leader, but there's only 7 spots to give out. So I don't think it was a slight to anybody. The Colts just have a team filled with really good leaders. That's what Ballard and Reich have been building.
Contrary to what we reported last week, the Colts did sign running back Philip Lindsay to the practice squad, and that wasn't us. I believe actually that wasn't it Wyatt Law that was a little tipsy on the gin last week and was saying Philip Lindsay got signed by the Houston Texans. Just joking around.
He might have been talking. Marlon Mack did. Marlon Mack got signed to the
Correct.
practice squad, but Philip Lindsay, yeah. So he's back again on the practice squad. The Colts, I don't know if they can protect him or not, but he's still that veteran on the practice squad that in an emergency, if one of the top two guys does go down, Philip Lindsay can be brought up and fill that role.
Vodka, not gin. I don't know why gin popped in my head first. I don't know. That's fair. Jonathan Taylor, I'm not even going to say it. Never mind.
Let's not talk about it.
Let's not. Week one picks, Andrew. Let's talk about our week one picks. You've made yours. I have not. I did want to pull up Shysta. Give me a second here. That's why I had DraftKings up originally. Sure. That's fine with me. Go ahead. I don't care. DraftKings, just let me look at the freaking lines.
Oh, you're going to give the lines for the games now?
See the lines. Why am I in daily fantasy? My God.
Producer Brandon and his daily struggles.
Yeah, I had it up earlier, and then I didn't. So, good story. All right, Andrew, week one. Tomorrow night, Thursday night, season opener, Buffalo Bills at the LA Rams. Bills are favored by 2 points, minus 135 compared to plus 115 for the Rams. Who do you got in LA opening night?
As the rating champion of our Pick'em challenge that we do, nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. The Bills were my Super Bowl pick, and I think they get off to a hot start. The Rams are it's the banner ceremony. I think they already have their rings, but it's the banner ceremony. But the Bills look good. They look real good, and I think Josh Allen's gonna win MVP this year. So I'm gonna take Bills.
Keep in mind here that my picks on our Pick'em and my picks for gambling may be different, because I don't remember what I picked. This one was one of the three hardest for me this week. The Bills look like they could be good. The Rams should still be good. My only concern in this game for them is the defensive line, probably comparative to last year, just losing Von Miller. So Josh Allen might eat, but I can't let us pick the same team on the first pick of the year, Andrew. Let's go ahead and get me off to an early lead. I'm going with the Rams to win at home. Super Bowl champs, Matt Stafford in his second year in a very smart offense. Also, Allen Robinson.
Okay. Allen Robinson.
People forget. I wanted to draft him in both leagues. I just wasn't willing to do it too early, and he ended up going before I wanted to take him. But Allen Robinson, so very interesting pick there from me, I'm sure. New Orleans, go ahead.
I already did take Bills -2 on good old DraftKings there. So
Bills -2.
We'll see.
All right. And then we've got the New Orleans Saints heading to the Atlanta Falcons. It's looking like a 5.5 point spread for the Saints, -230. I'm going with the Saints. Seems like a safe pick. Famous Jameis going to win a football game.
I'm going with the Saints as well. I think Jameis Winston is ready to prove he can be the starter for the Saints. And the Saints roster as a whole, just way more talented than the Falcons. So I think the Saints win pretty easily.
Whitelaw, that is incorrect. You should drink and pick. What do you think I do on Sundays while I'm live betting games? And then the San Francisco 49ers head to Chicago. 49ers are favored by 7 here. And that's -295. I'm going with the 49ers. I don't know if I'd pick that spread just because I'm unsure about Trey Lance, but I do believe the running game at the very least of the 49ers will seal the game for them.
I'm going with the 49ers as well, but I'm taking them because of that defensive line and going up against a very bad offensive line for the Bears.
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields is going to get 8 alive. So, yeah, I'm going 49ers.
Okay. And then a divisional game. Oh, by the way, let's keep track of those. That's 2 plus the Colts game. So we're heading divisional game number 2. The Steelers going to Cincinnati. Bengals favored by 6.5 at -275. This time last year, we would not have been picking the Bengals to win this football game. Different story this time around.
Yeah, I'm picking the Bengals to win. I think it'll be closer than people think. I don't think the Bengals are going to run away with this just because, again, like you said, divisional game. The Steelers play everybody very tough. It doesn't matter who's at quarterback. But I do think the Bengals are going to win at home.
Really interested to see how Mitch Trubisky plays in a not Matt Nagy offense.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Not a big believer in the Matt Nagy. Here we got a classic AFC versus NFC. Nope, these are both NFC. I'm an asshole. The Eagles are going to play in Detroit. This is a game where I'm telling you know what you pick. I keep picking first and just keep going on a roll. Andrew, who do you got?
I'm going with Nick Sirianni, my coach of the year pick. I think the Eagles do it. It's going to be a sold out Ford Field on Sunday, which I don't think has happened since 2019. So it's going to be a lot of rowdy Lions fans, ready to bite some kneecaps off. But man, the Eagles are stacked. There's that question mark around Jalen Hurts. Can he take that next step? But everywhere else on the roster, the Eagles are pretty damn good. So I'm going to take Philadelphia.
I'm going to go with the away team as well with points. I'd give them the spread, which I will talk about here in a little bit. I like the Eagles and that Nick Sirianni offense. Andrew, the New England Patriots going to Miami, not very good early in the year. The Patriots typically not very good in Miami typically. They've got Tua, they've got Tyreek Hill to deal with. But I don't think Mac Jones is going down to Miami and losing to the Dolphins week 1 with a new head coach in Miami, a weird offseason for them. I'm going with the Pats.
Oh, okay. See, I'm on the Dolphins. The Patriots never play well down in Miami. And with Bill Belichick as the offensive coordinator calling plays,
I thought it was Joe Judge and Matt Patricia.
See, here's the thing. No one knows who the offensive coordinator is, and that's a bad thing. So, I mean, Tua and Tyreek Hill, I think Tyreek Hill is going to eat because Jalen Waddle's over there, Mike Gesicki. It's gonna be I think the Dolphins are very much improved. Mike McDaniel is gonna tool the offense around Tua. I'm going Dolphins.
This next one's another one you can go ahead and probably go with the spread as well, Andrew. The Baltimore Ravens are going to play the New York Jets in New York, Jersey, and they're favored by 7 points. I can't imagine you're picking the Jets.
I'm all on the Baltimore Ravens. Joe Flacco, love you, man. You're elite. He's the one that's starting on Sunday for the Jets.
Against his former team.
Former head coach. Lamar is out to prove to the Ravens, hey, give me that big deal. Otherwise, you're not going to have a quarterback anymore. So I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens, and I think they win pretty handily.
Yeah. Next game, number one hardest one to pick. Number one hardest game to pick this week. Jacksonville Jaguars at Washington Commanders. I don't remember what I picked in my bets. I don't know.
Wyatt Law asking the hard-hitting questions. Does Carson Wentz redeem himself against the Jags? You want me to go first?
You pick first. I'm going to try to see what I picked in my. I'll just go with what I picked earlier.
Carson Wentz does not redeem himself against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yikes. I'm going
with Trevor Lawrence, Doug Peterson, Travis Etienne, that big contract Christian Kirk down there. I think the Jaguars are better than people think. I think they're going to be better than people think this year. And from everything coming out of Commanders camp, Carson Wentz was just as erratic as he was to end the 2021 season with the Indianapolis Colts. I'm going Jacksonville.
I bet on the Jags, and I'm going to hold true to that. I'm going to go Jags. I
think Washington's favored.
They are plus 2.5, plus 115. So they're getting 2.5 points. So definitely the Jags money line, by the way, but I'm picking the Jags to win as well. Andrew, this game here, not this one's not one of the top 3 hardest of the week, I don't think, because it's hilarious. Actually, I think if you have a brain, apparently 77% of people do not have a brain, but the Cleveland Browns are going to the Carolina Panthers. I do not care what's going on in Cleveland. The Cleveland Browns are a better football team than the Carolina Panthers, and the Cleveland Browns are going to win that football game. I don't give a damn if it's Jacoby Brissett playing quarterback.
So you're going Browns on that one?
I'm 100% going Browns.
You see, Brandon?
I didn't even hesitate.
I'm feeling dangerous. And I think Baker Mayfield is feeling dangerous. I would love to see Baker Mayfield
light up the Browns. That'd be hilarious to me.
Baker Mayfield, I think, with DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson and Terrence Marshall, they're going to go off. Christian McCaffrey is healthy and ready to play. So
that's what Vegas really thinks. The Panthers are favored by 1.5, and they give the home team 2 points. So,
but man, we've seen Jacoby Brissett play in person multiple games.
Jacoby Brissett never had Nick Chubb.
I mean, but if you just key in on Nick Chubb, you can stop Nick Chubb. So I'm going Panthers. I think Baker Mayfield gets his revenge.
All right, we both picked the Colts. Then New York Giants heading to Tennessee to play the Titans. This one I will go with the majority. Home team Tennessee Titans, unfortunately, will likely win this football game. And they are heavily favored as well. Well, not as much as I thought. 5.5 point favorites.
Yeah, I think Tennessee handles the New York Giants. So I think Tennessee has taken a step back, and I think Derrick Henry might not be as formidable as he once was, just because he is an older running back now, and those carries are going to catch up with him. But yeah, Tennessee takes the win. Giants are an absolute mess right now.
Game number 3 in my top 3 hardest games to pick this week, the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. I'm not worried about the Packers this season. I'm worried about the Packers this game. They are favored by 1.5 away. But with the young receiving core, we're going to be relying on tight ends, probably the running backs, 2 very good running backs, by the way. I still just don't know if the Packers have what it takes this early in the season to win against a divisional opponent. I stopped counting divisional opponents, by the way. Stats, Matt, give me how many games are divisional games week 1, by the way. I don't know what the NFL was on this year, but it's incredible.
See, so did you take Packers? Did you take the Vikings? I'm going to go Packers as well.
I'm just worried about the Packers.
I do think it's going to be a close game. I really do, because we're going to see a completely different Packers offense where it's probably more focused on wide receiver by committee and running the football. So, but again, you still have Aaron Rodgers. So I am going to go with the Green Bay Packers.
All right. Jacoby hit 1,000-yard Marlon Mack. Calm down. Shut up, stats, man. Kansas City going to Arizona to play Kyler Murray and the Cardinals.
I think this one's sneaky tough.
It's not easy, but you always just fall back to, well, it's Kansas City, right?
It's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs as well, but I
think the line's a little skewed. I don't think the line's great. 6-point spread.
Kansas City 6-point favorites.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I'd take Arizona to cover that. I would. I think it's gonna be a close game. But again, when you got Patrick Mahomes, I think you convert in the end. So that's what I'm going with. I'm going Chiefs.
All right. And then the Las Vegas Raiders are heading to LA to play the Chargers. 2 home games in LA in 1 week. That's fun.
That is fun for them. I'm going Chargers.
Sucks for the staff.
Justin Herbert and that offense, I think, is taking another step forward. Not to mention the defense with Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Derwin James. I'm going Chargers, and I think the Chargers. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the Chargers win by about 10.
This will be the game I probably pay the most attention to out of the 425 games. That, the Packers and the Chiefs. Okay, so that's every game but the Giants and the Titans. But I feel like depending on how the games are going, if they're all close and I had to choose to watch between one of those three, I'm probably sticking with Las Vegas versus LA just because that division is so interesting to me. So I want to see who gets the first divisional win in that division.
6 divisional matchups from StatsMap. It's a lot for week 1.
Yeah, out of 16 games. So both of us picking the Chargers. And then Sunday night, Andrew, a rematch of last year's first game of the season. Wild that this is their first game again this year. Prime time, Buccaneers, Dallas Cowboys. This game was incredible last year on Thursday night. Incredible. And by the way, the only football game I got to watch in Pacific Daylight Time. So
it's a very good matchup, and in Dallas, so it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a rocking environment, but I'm going Tom Brady, our close personal friend that watches the show, Tom Brady. I think the Bucks are going to be one of the top teams in the NFC once again. And
I think their first team looked good against us in the preseason too.
Yeah, so I don't think that the Dallas defense can really put up a stop. I know they have Trayvon Diggs, but Diggs gave up he got a lot of interceptions, also gave up a lot of yards. So I'm going with Tampa Bay.
I saw a meme today. It said Dallas Cowboys eliminated from playoff contention, and then said, I know it's a little early, but still. Which was hilarious to me. And then Monday night, no more double Monday night games anymore, huh?
Guess not.
Last year they didn't have one either, but Russell Wilson heading back to Seattle. There's no way he loses this football game. They're favored by 6.5 in Seattle.
4 words. Broncos country. Let's ride.
Let's
Russell
Let's
Wilson
fucking ride.
Russell Wilson is getting the dub against the Seahawks. I would not be surprised if Russell Wilson goes for 350 and 4 tuds. I think he's going to annihilate the Seattle Seahawks. As Tom Brady says, the Bucks are going to win again. I always win. Nobody beats me, except your father, Eli Manning.
Did Tom Brady's photo get a haircut? Do we have an updated photo? Am I noticing a haircut, Tom? Looks great. All right, let's go ahead and is there a submit button or just hit done? How many total points will be scored in Broncos versus Seahawks? 47.
I went 54. I'm going to hammer the over because I think Russ is going to be on an absolute tear.
Yeah, but the Seahawks are not going to score points.
Might still hit 54.
Let's ride. Yeah.
Let's ride.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
Let's go to news around the league.
News around the league? I like news around the league. Andrew, the Steelers name Mitch Trubisky as their starting quarterback.
Kind of figured this would happen.
You think he'll make it all the way through the year?
I do not. I think Kenny Pickett eventually replaces
Kenny Pickett thrown to George Pickens.
I think he eventually replaces Mitch Trubisky. I'd give Trubisky. Well, I'll put the over under at half the season, 8 games.
All right,
8.5.
Okay, we'll see. Bills and tight end Dawson Knox agree to a 4-year, $53.6 million extension. Good for him.
Dawson Knox, low-key a very good tight end. I think
draft him in my fantasy team.
I think with his relationship with Josh Allen, he's clicked. Yeah. They've clicked together. So it's you're starting to see more of his weapons being kept long-term. And Dawson Knox, not a bad tight end.
Cowboys have signed former Eagles and Bears offensive tackle Jason Peters.
I think that's a good move considering Tyron Smith out for the year with that knee injury, or close to out for the year. But Jason Peters, 40 years old, still playing tackle at a high level.
And then wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders has announced his retirement. That guy made Antonio Brown.
I feel like he was one of your favorite wide receivers over the years. Emmanuel Sanders.
He's probably one of my favorite non-Colts receivers in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I'd say so.
Ultimate professional, won Super Bowl 50 there in Denver with Peyton Manning. In his retirement presser today, he did talk about the role Peyton Manning and Demaryius Thomas, RIP, had on his career and how they both elevated his game. So, yeah, Emmanuel Sanders, definitely probably one of the best number 2 wide receivers in all of his years in the league. I don't think he ever reached number 1 status, but I mean, he was lightning quick and good quarterbacks could rely on him all over the field. So, hell of a career for Emmanuel Sanders.
All righty, Andrew, guess what?
Is it that time of the year?
It's that time of year, baby. We're back. It's time for Bad Beats with Brandon. All right, everybody. If you don't know what Bad Beats with Brandon is, it's a lot of great picks that one of them never works out. I'm going to start, Andrew. I'm going to go with each week. I'm going to do a lock. Okay. Could be one pick, could be a little parlay. I'm going to go with a parlay I feel real confident about. And then I'm going to go with an every game parlay.
Love it.
An every game parlay. And if I bail on a game or two because they're just ridiculous, don't want to hear about it. All right. So my very, very confident parlay. I got the Baltimore Ravens -7 and the Eagles -4. That's going to be at +256. So you can win a little bit of money on that one. Nothing crazy
that.
Now we're moving into my confident. I love this parlay. 9 picks, Andrew. Deal with it. I've got the Colts -315. I've got the Ravens.
Juju.
I've got the Ravens with the points -7. I've got the Bengals straight up at -275. I've got the Niners straight up -295. Saints -230. Eagles -4. Eagles -4 with points. Tennessee Titans straight up at -250. The Buccaneers at -140 straight up. And the Denver Broncos, I did not want to take the points given that it is in Seattle, but they're at -285. That is, Andrew, a +38.93 bet. $10 bet's going to win you $400. And then the 16 pick parlay.
Wow.
Every game, Andrew. I went with I'm not going to give the odds on these ones. I went with the Rams straight up. I went with the Colts straight up. I went with the Ravens straight up. I think I went straight up on all these. So Bengals, 49ers, Saints, Browns, Patriots, Eagles, Titans, Packers, Chiefs, Chargers, Jacksonville, Bucks, Denver Broncos. I think I made all the same picks. In my pick 'em. So we're feeling real good this week about those picks, Andrew. That's at +206,111. $5 bet wins $10,000, $10,310.56.
That's wild.
Honeymoon paid for. You know
There
what I'm
you
saying?
go. Oh, yeah.
Listen, 2 years ago, I did not have a great year in picks last year. Bets I did fine, right? But none of my big parlays really hit last year. 2 years ago, I almost hit an every game parlay. I missed by one game.
You were very upset.
I was very upset, and it was one of the biggest upsets of the year. It was like the Raiders beat the Chiefs while the Chiefs were just balling out. But that's it. That's Bad Beats with Brandon, Andrew. What do we got? Let's revisit Baker after this week's game. Yeah, let's talk about Baker. We'll talk about Baker on Monday or Sunday, depending on how the Colts do.
We'll see.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Don't forget to go follow us at A Colts Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. One last final big thank you to Home Field Apparel. If they listen to any of my ad reads, they're probably not going to ask us to do any more of those. So, but we do appreciate them. Very cool clothes. Thank you for sending us stuff. Thank you for putting more Colts apparel out there. We love that.
Love it.
And please send me a bomber. Extra large. I will wear that. Andrew, anything else before we head into week 1?
Just football's back, man. Can't wait to see.
Stats Matt says he's glad we're going back to 2 shows a week. I'm not.
It'll be fun because we talk about.
I'm so stressed out right now.
Talk about Colts football hopefully a lot of winning Colts football. But I think it's time. It's time the Colts win in week 1. Feel like they do that Sunday. So go Colts.
It's here. Feels like I said it 52 weeks ago. Go Colts.
Let this moment become a cherished memory. And then remember, a legacy is only worthwhile when there is a future to fuel. God bless you, and God bless football.